Hi guys, welcome back to the Talking Rangers YouTube channel. At last, we are finally back, sitting in this chair, chatting nonsense about QPR in front of the three frames. Sadly, it's not a watch along, but we're back for an update. I'm just going to kind of sit down and have a chat about all things QPR that we've missed upon and the last month or so that I've been hiding. We're back, I've had a nice break, and we are raring to go for the exciting season that is just ahead of us. But there's going to be some changes on the channel coming into this season. Finally, we're going to have videos of me actually going down to the game and hopefully meeting some of you guys. Very excited to get into it. But here's one of the changes we're making on the channel. Now, would you look at that? Like Mark Goldbridge, eat your heart out. But I can hear a couple of you gasping for air now as the frames have frantically disappeared. But luckily not disappeared from existence. They are still sitting on the other side of that green screen. So they're not going to go anywhere. Don't worry. They are still a big part of the channel. So yeah, not to worry. But of course, we've got to keep things fresh. We've got to keep things up to date. So that's a little addition we'll be making. But it's going to be exciting to see sort of the videos that I'll be able to put out coming into the new season, actually being able to get down to the stadium, away days, that all sort of stuff. So it's going to be exciting. But there's one thing I just want to start on for a minute. Wow. Just simply wow. The kits that they put out the other day are absolutely sublime. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this was nice. But sorry. Don't get me wrong. They are nice. But wow. The new ones are unbelievable. That is the best away kit we've had in about forever. No, that's a push. That is a push. But they are just unbelievable. Cannot wait to get my hands on. I mean, ideally both of them, but we'll have to see about that one. But sadly not on sale till next weekend. Is that a joke? We've waited this long for the kits to be released. About 2 months later than other clubs. I mean, some are being released now, but that's besides the point. And they're still not ready to be sold yet. Come on. But good things are worth waiting for, and they are definitely worth waiting for. But, you know, we missed out on a couple signings. By a couple, I mean a lot of signings. Andre Dazelle signed from Ipswich. I'm excited about that one. I think that is going to be a good reinforcement in midfield. You know, he's a good creative player. A young player that's got a lot of potential, hasn't quite been able to unlock that in terms of end product at Ipswich, but he's been there a long time, and I think he's going to kind of need that new challenge, step up to the Championship. He's going to need to kick up the backside. It's going to be a tough midfield to get into because the midfield's looking pretty nice, boys and girls, and it seems as though QPR aren't even done adding to that midfield, which again is pretty exciting. So I'm very happy about Andre Dazelle coming through the door. I think that's going to be a good one. Looking forward to the future. Like I say, he's got a lot of potential. I've heard good things of him. I've heard a couple of mixed things as well. But that's the thing, when you're under that, I think his dad was at Ipswich for a very long time. He was a big player there. Kind of went under his radar, in his shadow. I think he needs to just step aside from that now and kind of kickstart his own career. So hopefully QPR could be the place that he does that. And hopefully, that can be a really good one. In years to come, because I think, you see this conveyor belt at the moment. For example, you look at Rob Dickie. I know Rob Dickie did more in League One than Andre Dazelle did last season, but hopefully that same sort of step up progression where QPR can be that platform to him to flourish. So like I say, I'm excited about that one. The great transfers of Device and Field, I think they're two good reinforcements. I think Device is a very important one. I think he was phenomenal in the time we did see him last season, bar the couple of niggling injuries he had coming in and out of the side. Sam Field is, I think, a good option in midfield. Like I say, if we want to try and be pushing for, I'm not going to say it, up to, let's just say, the higher end of the Championship, towards the top half rather than the bottom half. Just trying not to get too carried away before this season started, because we'll see how it all unfolds. Millwall, 7th of August. I definitely haven't been reciting that date because I'm rather excited, to say the least. But never mind. Let's digress to the point I was actually getting on. I think Device is going to be really important for us next season. Very big towering centre half, and I think he complements, if Warburton is still going to go that back three, I think the likes of Barbe and Dickie either side. It just creates a really good dynamic between the three. Barbe and Dickie able to play with their feet and out from the back, and you've got Device who's just an absolute unit between the two of them, just headering things and smashing people. He's great to watch. But I was actually talking about Field, wasn't I? Sam Field, I think, he's someone where you need those type of players throughout a long season. Those sort of battling central midfielders, more the defensive side. We know that despite his fantastic, was it the winner? I can't remember now actually on his debut coming on to score that, but I think we've seen some great glimpses of Soundfield, but at the same time, not quite enough at moments. But I am happy about this one. I think only thing for me is they're very similar sort of skill set to Dominic Ball. But like I say, you need depth. You need depth in numbers. And I think he's definitely someone that's worth adding into the side. And I'm happy we got that one over the line. Actually, you know what? Let's touch about this one. Afterwards. I'm going to skip one. We've got Sam McCallum. Exciting left back / left wing back coming in from Norwich on loan till the end of the season, having a good loan spell at Coventry. And apparently, I can't say that I knew much about him before in putting pen to paper for the R's, but I've heard some good things, and I think we've got Lee Wallace. Supposedly, Nico is set to leave. QPR basically said they're open to offers for Nico. Warburton doesn't seem really fitting into his plans, which is what I agree with. In fairness, I think he's had enough chances now to kind of prove and just show glimpses of what he's capable of. I think he's he's struggled under the spotlight a little bit. So hopefully, I've got nothing against him. I think he can still potentially do it later down the line in at the Championship at this level. But for the time being, I think he just needs to go get some more minutes under his belt. I think really for his career progression, I think he'd be better off going permanently at a lower league club, either League One or League Two, getting some minutes under his belt, just start progressing and getting his confidence back up again, because I feel like his confidence was pretty shot come the end of last season. But I think it makes sense for QPR to part ways. Not every single youngster can come through the system and be one of the best players in the Championship like Eze did. You are going to get, these heroes, and you're going to get these players who don't quite make the cut, but that's just natural how it is with bringing in young talent. But yeah, Sam McCallum, I'm really happy we've got that one over the line. I think it's going to him and Wallace, I think, will be solid for next season. I'm happy with that. But another defensive reinforcement brought into the club, Jimmy Dunn, signing on a 3-year deal? I think a 3-year deal following his rejection of a contract at Burnley. I think he played a couple of games at the start of the season for Burnley. And he's supposed to be, pretty good as well. 22-year-old. Again, another young player. I mean, obviously, Sam McCallum is on loan. This is a permanent deal for Jimmy Dunn. And I think that could be really good. You look at the numbers now, because obviously we lost Jeff Cameron last season. We were due to lose Device. Obviously, he was only on loan, but we've signed him up. You've got Barbe, Dickey, Device, Jimmy Dunn, and maybe even Masterson, pending what happens with that one. Will he stay with us next season? Will he go back out on loan again? But if Warburton does want to play 3 at the back, you're going to need that depth in numbers, because obviously you're not just playing 2 centre-halves, you're playing the 3. So we've got 5 there. That should be good as well. Obviously, you've got the likes of Dominic Ball or Sam Field that can maybe even step into that as well if numbers do get short. So I feel like we're pretty stacked now in that position, which is great. There is someone I have forgotten. The signing has kind of gone under the radar a little bit. If we do take a little inspection, that's it. Jordan Archer, coming into the club following the departure of Liam Kelly, which I wasn't surprised to see. We'll touch upon the departures in just a second. Jordan Archer, Jordan Archer, the 28-year-old coming in. I don't think on a free transfer, I don't think that's a bad bit of business. I think we all know Senny Dieng is going to be the number 1 for QPR next season. Hopefully, he will still be here, because the possibility of him leaving, these transfers have kind of gone a bit under the radar. I've not really heard many rumours, and I want it to stay that way. But I'm happy with that one. I think again we've got we've got Senny Dieng, Jordan Archer, Dylan Barnes, and I've forgotten his name now. Sean, the youngster. Oh, and I've heard big things about him as well. Obviously, we did lose Joe Lumley as well, which again I'll touch upon in just a second. So losing Joe Lumley and Liam Kelly to experienced keepers, we needed to bring in another keeper there. And I think QPR have done the right thing. I think really with Senny Dieng, you don't want to be putting too much budget aside for a second, a backup keeper. Jordan Archer, experienced in the Championship, not a bad player. I did absolutely hate him for the couple of times that he's played against us for Millwall. The amount of time he wasted was horrendous. But like I say, if he can use that to our advantage now, then I'll forgive him. But anyway, so yeah, that's sort of the transfers we've got done for now. I'm still waiting for Stefan Johansson. When is that going to be done? I'm not so sure. Are we having doubts about that? Because I'm starting to doubt it a little bit. Obviously, there was the delay. Scott Parker, I think he was having talks with Stefan Johansson about him potentially staying or leaving, where his sort of head was at and where Scott Parker's position on that transfer was. Scott Parker's now gone to Bournemouth. They brought in Marco Silva. That sort of position where, will Marco Silva want to keep him? Will they let him go? I think that's still up in the air at the moment. It maybe depends what they're able to do in terms of their transfers, because he is a big player at this level, even for Fulham. So yeah, I think that one will kind of be one maybe that could resurface come the latter stages of the window. But for now, I think we'll sit tight. There is talk of signing Tommy Doyle from Manchester City, the 19-year-old exciting prospect, another midfielder. That one would be on loan. So yeah, it kind of seems like with Dizelle, I think Dizelle kind of obviously nowhere near to the levels of performance that Stefan Johansson was able to put in last season. Dizelle kind of has that same, well, not same, but kind of more similar skill set to Stefan Johansson than anybody else in the current midfield. Interesting to see Tom Carroll will not be rejoining the club for this season. That one did surprise me. I kind of saw that one as a bit of a banker. Maybe, I think maybe the problem there would probably have been the amount of first team football that QPR could guarantee him. And I think probably QPR weren't too sure to get him on a contract with, first team, crucial player. If you've played a bit of career mode, you'll know about that one. I think the level of importance and involvement in that side right now, QPR can't guarantee him. With the likes of trying to sign Stefan Johansson, you've got Dizelle in that same position. We've got so many numbers like Amos even coming back into the mix now. We're pretty stacked in midfield. And so we'll touch on the departures now. So let's just pray. I mean, I'm praying every night really that Johansson, we can get that one over the line. But I did say, right, at the end of the season, if we sign Field, if we sign Device, if we sign Charlie Austin, and we sign Stefan Johansson, then I think we can get top four. And now these, I know we've got the three, we're lacking Johansson, but I'm kind of like, well, I did say this, and I don't want to get too carried away just yet. But we'll have to see how it unfolds. Of course, we're coming back to that main man. Charlie Austin has put pen to paper on... Wait, is it a 2-year deal now? That was a long time ago. I think a 2-year deal. Big coup for the club. Big statement of intent. I think QPR have been really smart with the business they've done in this window. And again, it's just feeding into this little bit of optimism that is surrounding the QPR fan base at the moment. Like I say, I think I'm not trying to get too carried away, but behind closed doors, could be getting quite excited about this one. Fantastic for QPR to get that one over the line. I don't want to know the wages he's on, but I feel like he's probably taken quite a settlement to come down to this level in terms of our sort of wage packet we're offering compared to the mammoth one at West Brom a couple of seasons ago. So fantastic for QPR. We're looking good in terms of attacking options. Let's start on the departure that's kind of upset that books. Macaulay Bonne leaving on loan to Ipswich. It's a bit of a mixed bag, this one. I fully understand why they've done it. He's not really getting the game time. I think QPR see him as someone that we can profit on. I think QPR kind of feel as though that was a good investment. I think the money we paid, QPR fans aren't so in agreement with that. But for me personally, so our likes for next season, you've obviously got Charlie Austin and Linda Dykes. They will be the main two. And then you've got Charlie Kelman, and it was Macaulay Bonne. Now, in my opinion, I would have kept Macaulay Bonne and I'd have loaned out Charlie Kelman, because I know Warburton's come out and said that Charlie Kelman is, and I think Adoma said this as well, Charlie Kelman is the most natural finisher at the club. They obviously see a lot in terms of the ability of Charlie Kelman, but I would have preferred Charlie Kelman to go out on loan, say it in Ipswich next season, get some goals under his belt, get some more first team appearances, come back with a real depth and confidence and self-belief, and really kick him on next season, try and get him in that starting lineup and get him firing for the R's. I don't see him really progressing himself much this season. And like I said, I know what Warburton and the coaching staff and how much they back him. But is he really going to be starting ahead of the likes of Charlie Austin and Linda Dykes? Yes, one of them has a bad game, or so they're not firing. You get him, chuck him in there. He's not going to be guaranteed a lot of minutes this year. So for me, I'd have preferred Macaulay Bonne to be our third striker. He's a bit more experienced at this level. So when called upon, when those two maybe come in and out of form, he knows what to do in the Championship. He's been in the Championship. He's a lot more Championship games under his belt compared to Charlie Kelman. I would have kept Austin, Dykes and Bon as our three, loaned out Charlie Kelman to get him some more first team minutes. But I'm not Mark Warburton. They obviously see Charlie Kelman as someone who can kick on this season, which is obviously great for us because we don't see him behind closed doors. So hopefully maybe that's someone we can get excited about this season. Anyway, we'll touch upon the two keepers. Joe Lumley leaving at the end of his contract to join Middlesbrough. I think I'm happy for him. I think he needed that sort of chance to kickstart his career and really move on. And I think under QPR, under the likes of Seny Dieng, he's not really going to be able to do that. So I'm happy for him. And I wish him all the best. No hard feelings there. He's been a very good servant to the club from a very young age. Like I say, all the best to Joe Lumley. Same for Liam Kelly. No hard feelings there. No animosity. I think it's probably the right thing. QPR signed him for 50k. We can't have been expecting the next Seny Dieng. I have no idea who's coming to mind. But we can't be expecting too much from him. Someone that's played in the Scottish League. We know what the Scottish League is like. So yeah, he did all right for the R's. Didn't set the world light. I think he was a good performer. He was a good player to have for that price point in the Championship. But, he probably misses home. He did really well on loan at Motherwell, and that just seemed like a natural progression. QPR would have made a couple of 100k on that. Perfect. So yeah, all the best. The same to Liam Kelly. Happy with Dieng. I'm happy with Archer as well. Free transfer. I think that's just a good little bit of business there. Keep the club ticking over. Get a little bit of profit. Why not? It needs to be done. So yeah, like I say, happy with that one. Interesting one now though. Shadipo leaving on loan again this season to join Sheffield Wednesday in League One. Now I thought, in fairness, QPR would maybe given him a bit of time pre-season, get him in there, sort of see the progression that he's made from last season. But it just doesn't seem he's backed at QPR. I don't think Warburton's his biggest advocate. But yeah, I need to find out how long is left on his contract, because I feel like maybe... Did he sign a new contract maybe till 2024? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that one. But yeah, I mean, it's good for him. I think it's a big club to go to. A good opportunity again in League One. I think it'd be invaluable for us as well in terms of his progression. I think he'll really kick on next year. He's got a lot of end product brought to his game last season, a lot of goals and assists, which I was very critical of him over the past few seasons. So happy to see him progress, happy to see what he can do. I was a bit intrigued to see that QPR maybe didn't even ponder with the idea of keeping him, because realistically we don't have that many options out wide. Not too many wingers. I think as well, you've seen Paul Smith leave the club to join Leyton Orient at the end of his contract. Who's a little bit heartbroken about that. Another one, really, I was a bit gutted because I'm a big fan of Paul Smith. And it is a shame to see him leave the club. But like I say, Shadipo is only on loan, and there is the prospect maybe next season or even recalling him in January. Who knows how well he does. But I guess, again, it makes sense. But I was surprised that the club didn't really, give him a little tinkle and see how he gets on in the side for next season. So that's it. That's sort of all the transfers. We haven't really had too many more rumours in that regard. Of course, we had, like I mentioned, Tommy Doyle and someone we know quite well and are pretty desperate to sign, but we'll have to come back to that one. In terms of the next sort of few weeks, we've got Manchester United at home on the 24th in a pre-season friendly. I will definitely be down there for that one. I think it's nice that really we've got these big games, especially at home. I know it's only a pre-season friendly, but Manchester United and Leicester at home we normally play like Grimsby and New Forest Green and all these crap teams. Sorry, no disrespect to anybody that's a second team, whatever. But Manchester United, I know we've got Cambridge in between the two, but that's exciting. I think the stadium's going to be, I don't know how full it would be, but they've opened it up, the whole of the stadium for this one, so could be exciting. I'll definitely be down there. There will be a nice little vlog, I think, is on the card, so you'll have to stay tuned for that one of the Manchester United game. We've got Millwall on the 7th of August. What a baptism of fire that's going to be for the start of the season, boys and girls. I cannot wait to get down there for a proper game of Championship football. Full packed out. Kyan Prince. Also, a little side note. He's saying he's going to still be called the Kyan Prince next season. I've not really heard anything on that regard. But yeah, the season ticket is acquired. We're ready to go come the 7th of August. I think it's going to be a good one, boys and girls. But let's not get too carried away just yet. Let's see how the first couple of games go before we put in all these shouts about how well we're going to do this year. But yeah, it was good to sit back in the chair. Good to, chat things QPR again. We'll have to do a little live stream or something. Maybe even, do you know what I think would be pretty good? A little kit ranking. I think QPR have absolutely blown it away with that kit and that kit for this season. Phenomenal. That home kit, the little yellow is quite nice. I like the neck on it. I think it's just quality, and I think the sponsor looks quite nice as well, the Ashfield Holdings. But that away kit, wow. But also, why have we got no third kit? Why have QPR done away with that the last few years? I'm not really very happy about that. But when you put out 2 kits like that, I'll let them off. Like I say, great to chat to you all again. The content is going to come back now. We've dusted off the camera, we've dusted off the frames. And we're ready to go for a big season ahead. It's going to be exciting, like I say, because I can actually make content now of actually going to games, not just sat here. I know we'll still do some live watch-alongs for obviously the games I can't get to, and as well, I need to hear your guys' feedback of what you want to see on the channel as well, with how things are changing. I need to hear your thoughts on the new content that I'll put out, but it's going to be exciting. Make sure you get down there as well. Hit subscribe if you haven't done already, if you're new to the channel, because there will be a giveaway at 2,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that's still here after the little absence. We will be back again very shortly for some more content, more transfers. Like I say, content around those pre-season friendly games. Come on, you Rs. It's nearly time to go for the big one. We will see you again soon. Stay tuned. Come on, you Rs.